Yes. This is it. This is it. This is where it's happening. Alan's in the house. He says, say hi to all your Irish fans. You're all there, all of you, because I think it's just one of you. And thank you for being the Irish fan, Alan. Absolute joy. So get your chat in the chat box. Send us some messages. We're going to interact. This is Cop On. This is our preview, Premier League preview. I've got some guests coming, I promise. They've all been held up, you know how it is, Friday night and all that. But I'm delighted to say, you can see in the top, where's the top? It's a mirror thing. Up there, we are supported by D. Cali Designs, okay? D. Cali Designs, who is a wonderfully talented artist, I'm sure you know. And he, what the heck? And he's very, very kindly agreed. Cali has agreed to sponsor this show. So I'll just show you a little bit of his work because it's absolutely terrific. So, for example, his website is amazing. This is Cali. Let me just, this is, if you use the code COPON10 and you go on calidesigns.co.uk, you can get all this amazing artwork. So if you use COPON10, you get 10% off. I'm really excited to have Cali on board. It's the first sponsor that COPON has ever had. Oh, you can just see my hands. Hello. We're gonna get into it. This is COPON. Get onto calidesigns.co.uk. Loads of stuff. He's got loads of brilliant artwork, Liverpool stuff, other stuff, Michael Jordan, all that. You'll see me. I'm going to go round the houses. My mind is going to get, it goes one way, it goes the other way. Sometimes it forgets to go back. It goes halfway back and then it turns around and it goes that way and then the other way. But there you go. We've got loads of stuff. We're going to hear from some celebrities. Pamela Anderson, Bruce Willis is going to join us. Tom Cruise is going to join us. Hillary Clinton, Ian Dowie. We've got loads of people coming in. Big Sam Allardyce. But right now, we got Ryan in the house. Ryan, you've made it. I can't hear you. Is that just me because I've muted my volume or what's going on? Say hello to me again. Oh, I can't hear you. Maybe it's just me. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to check with someone else. Maybe it's just my volume. Can you hear me? Yes, if you can hear me, because I can't hear you. You can hear me. Okay, right. Okay, there you go. Abdul's on the way back. There you go. Abdul, you're running home.
Lads. What's up? Sorry, I'm on the way back to trying to get my laptop. So, so sorry about that.
No worries, man. It's absolutely beautiful. This is what COPON is. It's professionalism all the way. And I'm really happy that you're with us. I tell you what, Abdul, you take your time. You get home, you make a cup of tea, and we'll see you very soon, okay? We'll see you very soon. Ryan, your mic is muted. So there you go. I could hear Abdul then. There's something to do with the mic. There's some mic settings somewhere. I don't know. You can. We'll leave you on screen whilst you look confused and figure it out. But normally there's a little button to say edit mic settings or something like that. There you go. So I don't know what's happening there. But this is COPON. We've got loads of different things to talk about. We've got loads of different things to do in the comments. We've got Robin. Yo, hi Ryan and Owen. Hello, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Yes, it's working now, Ryan. I can hear you. So you can.
Fingers crossed it stays.
Yeah, I think so. Excellent. Is that a new headset? What's that?
Yeah, it's from work, but we'll still be all right.
Very good. So there you go, Ryan. You're welcome to COPON. The big news in the Premier League today: see Ronaldo joining Manchester United. What are your initial thoughts?
Talent on the pitch, bit dodgy.
Oh,
I don't want to go too much further in case I get us in trouble.
Okay, so I mean, I think you cut out a little bit there, but okay, he had talent on the pitch, but a bit dodgy in other respects, possibly. Okay, Yeah, all right. Yes, I think so. I think you might be right. There you go. He said hi. He fixed the mic to say hello to me. Yes, he did. Excellent stuff. It's really good that you're with us, guys. So there you go. What can I do? I've got tons of things to talk about. We're going to go through the fixtures. Man City, Arsenal. We've got loads of stuff. We've got more guests coming in. Excellent stuff. Reese is here. Good timing. Just as
Go, Reese.
Good evening, chaps. How are you both doing?
Very
Good
well.
to see you,
Thank
mate.
very much. Really good to see you. We're so glad you're here. It's really nice to have a United fan. Gene is in the house as well. Can't see you, Gene, but maybe you can hear us. I don't know.
I can hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear.
It's on the way home. Okay.
I'm in transit.
Okay, man. No worries. No worries. Okay, well, drive safely. Keep your eyes on the road, and just
Always.
join us when you're back home. All right, Gene. Just
Of course, no problem.
come in whenever you like. That's great. Excellent stuff. Reese, yesterday, only yesterday, we were on a show called the Dugout Football Channel.
Yes, we were.
And you were saying how much you do not like Cristiano Ronaldo. And 19 hours ago, there was a tweet that's gone viral from a Manchester City account saying, Ronaldo to City, done deal. But what do you know? One day later, Cristiano's back. Have you burned your shirt of his already? Have you, what are you doing?
Have I burnt any shirts? Well, I tell you what, I'll let the camera do the talking.
See where this is going.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay. It's Ronaldo.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to have a McTominay shirt for a moment. Okay.
In gold. No, in all respect, though, I think my exact words last night was if you went to Man City, I would feel pain because it's a club great going to not just any rival, but it's a City rival, a domestic league rival as well. It would hurt, but you can't help but just adore the guy anyway. It'd be the same if like Messi had joined Barcelona or Real Madrid. Like if he'd still went there, he would still be adored by people, but there would be a hatred there as well, like to the degree of like you went to them. I'm just glad that he never went to, of all places, he never went to like a Liverpool. That would have been worse, but he didn't go to City. He came back to us. What can I say? There's no hate. I still got my shirts. I can still tweet peacefully. I can still love the guy, but if he had went to City, he would have burnt a few bridges with a few United fans, maybe myself, but I would have to accept it and deal with it at a different stage, but at least I don't have to do that now.
You don't have to do that now. Ryan, what do you think in terms of, the effect he's going to have on Manchester United? I mean, is he sort of bump it? I mean, I'll tell you what I think first, right? I think what Varane and Sancho do for me is they give 10 points to Manchester United, who finished on 71 points last season. So that bumps them up to 81 points, in my opinion. You add Cristiano Ronaldo, 29 goals, if you didn't know, in Serie A last season. We're going to look at his record. Actually, we might as well do it in a minute. But 29 goals, top scorer in Serie A, 5 more than Lukaku, by the way, last season. And yeah, I mean, he's still a bit of a monster, but he adds 5 points onto their total. So that's 86 points.
And in most league seasons, per the Premier League, it wins you the Premier League title.
It might do.
But is it enough this year? That's the only thing. But
also, what I also need to mention here,
of course,
is that the refereeing has changed this season. And I honestly think you might think this is mad sour grapes from a Liverpool fan. There's nothing of the sort. Bruno Fernandes has got 25 penalties in the last 2 seasons.
That's right.
And I think you will get at least 10 of those taken away. So, your penalty count will be down. I
agree.
So, Ryan, my question to you is, how many points are United looking at now that they've signed Ronaldo? Are they genuine contenders, or is the winner going to get 90 plus again?
I thought they were genuine contenders before the Ronaldo signing because they have a really good squad, to be fair. Now, when I say contenders, that doesn't mean I think they'll win it. I think they'll be out of the race by the end of March. And the reason for that is Ollie. I just don't think he can put together the sort of run that you've seen ourselves or City go on, or Chelsea when they won their last title, where they effectively had the title wrapped up by Christmas, because they've gone on this massive run at the start of the season. Now, here's me concern, not necessarily as a Liverpool fan, but more as a football fan, trying to look at this as neutrally as possible with Ronaldo. At the age of 36, can he do enough defensive work from the front in the same way that Lukaku can, or the way our front three does, or the way City's team do when they're out of possession, where they press like crazy? Now, I must admit, I've not seen enough of United over the last season and a half. So I guess my question I'd like to pass on to Reese is, do you have any concerns about potentially carrying a passenger? Is a very harsh term to put it in, but do you have any concerns about him in your forward line in terms of his work rate off the ball?
That's a fair question. And I accept that question because obviously we know what type of player he is. Like, he is an absolute goal machine, and when he gets his mind into it, if he wants to, he will put 4, 5, 6 past any team. If he wanted to, he can do that on his own. But in terms of what he's going to bring, I think in terms of I just think right now he's just that complete mature player where I think he is going to be fine with the work. I think you look at United as a whole, they are a hard-working team. We do get the goals from any position. It's not just penalties. We do score from other areas, but we have relied to a degree at certain stages on set pieces. That's not something to mismatch on. That's a fact. We've had a fair amount of set piece goals, but I look at what we get from wide areas, cutting into the box. We get goals there as well, and I think people had the same questions about Edinson Cavani in terms of what's he going to do. But look at him; his work rate off the ball, his pressing was superb, and I think Ronaldo, only 2 years older, is the exact same. I think he is good. I think he will shut them down. He may not be as quick as he used to be, Ronaldo. He may not be as quick as he used to be, but he's still got that deadly threat and eye for a goal. That if we just get the right ball to him, 9 times out of 10 he's going to score. So I'm hoping that it'll be not 9 out of 10, but 10 out of 10. I'm hoping that we get near enough every time, inch perfect, where the man just repetitively just scores goals. But it's not going to happen every game. But I just think his influence is too big and too strong, where he is a winner and he knows it in his head. It doesn't matter where he goes, he's going there to be the best. He's going there to win. And I think that is such a massive advantage. But are we going to win the league is a question mark.
I've got to raise my eyebrows and you'll see what happens here. Whoa. So with, Abdul, welcome. I'm gonna share my screen here. I've got to share this thing here. Hang on 1 second. Got to share my screen. I've got to press these little buttons here because I want to bring up something that I find absolutely astonishing, right? And it's loads of text. There it is. And what it is Cristiano Ronaldo's career stats in all competitions. And I don't know, I'm going to zoom in here because there's only one bit that I want to show you. He's been at Juventus for 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me just scroll down here. There you go. Scroll across here. So he's been at Juventus for 4 seasons. You can see it in yellow there, I hope. If you look at his goals and assists, this is per 90 minutes, right? He's on 0.94. So he either scores or he assists in every single match, basically.
That's incredible.
That's unbelievable record as well, especially in a defensive league. It's crazy
considering he's 36 years old, all right? So I want to draw your attention to that, okay? And the stats are pretty good, but of course we have to compare the stats, don't we? So we have to, I've got to press these buttons so, enjoy the sort of hellish landscape whilst I, find the right buttons again. Hang on.
No, you're going to be stuck like that now.
Pardon?
Now you're going to be stuck like that for the rest of the pod now.
Yeah, exactly. So if we compare it to, there it is. Hang on. Where is it? Where's it gone? Mohamed Salah, right? Career.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, no, you did. Of course you did. So goals and assists, he's on 0.92, okay? Goals assists for Liverpool, okay, in the last 5 seasons. So it's very comparable. He either gets a goal or he gets an assist, okay? And Lionel Messi, I'm not going to share the tab because it just takes too long to press all those buttons. But the only other guy you can really compare him to are two guys. Sorry. Two guys. Lionel Messi and maybe Romelu Lukaku. But Lionel Messi's a nut job because he's on about 1.3.
Yeah, his stats are mental.
90,
yeah.
Which
his stats are ridiculous.
No, but that is otherworldly. So anyway, it's a long-winded way of saying, Abdul, is Ronaldo going to kick ass in the Premier League to the point where Liverpool need to be worried? Or, as Ryan suggested earlier, the fact that he's not tracking back means that they're defensively, they're effectively playing with 10 men every single match because he's just a stick with 2 very powerful legs and a great head.
I think those two sides to the argument pretty much encapsulate whichever way it could go. I really couldn't tell you. You'd want to say that, Cristiano Ronaldo is a legend of football, not just the Premier League or Real Madrid or Juventus. Just in general, the history of football, he's one of the best players ever. So you've got to hope, fingers crossed for that he would just come in and hit the ground running and just carry on doing bits. But I mean, that's just as a general football fan. As a Liverpool fan, obviously, you just want the latter. You want him to just, be an absolutely redundant signing that they were peer pressured into by Man City. And hopefully it's just a massive drain on their resources. And it just turns out to be a silly decision because they already had Cavani there and they didn't really need to make the signing. But honestly, he's a quality professional footballer. And I feel like, just put him up against defenders and he'll just use all of the experience he's gained over the last however long it's been since he's been away from the Premier League.
12 years. 12 years this year.
12 years.
Wow.
Really.
Yeah. What a homecoming. Hopefully, because at the moment you've got City and Chelsea and Liverpool, who I think are clearly the best teams in the league. And they're in really good form as well, in terms of, City just won the Premier League. Liverpool are kind of unbeaten for a very long stretch into last season. Chelsea Champions League winners. So they're in good kind of clear headspace. They know what they can do and what they can achieve. Man United is a bit more uncertain because obviously you guys are trying to become one of those teams. So the idea is Ronaldo makes you one of those teams. If he does, who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But I just feel like they need a defensive midfielder. If they got a defensive midfielder, I feel like I would have been a lot more worried. But this just feels like a nice kind of status symbol signing just to make United fans feel good. So, you've definitely got that feel good factor. It's exciting for you guys, and we're a bit envious of that.
Yeah, definitely. That feel good factor is going to make a big difference with the fans back as well. Definitely. Okay. But the sun is shining. It's Premier League. Weekend is about to start, so let's get into the big chat about because I've actually done some work. You'd be surprised. I've actually done loads of sort of research and shit like that. Like, whoa! But anyway, so let's get into it. I've got to find always the right buttons. There you go. The first match of the weekend. Man City versus Arsenal. Now, I'll give you the little bit of research I've been doing, which I've mainly pilfered from the BBC, but not always. The injuries first. There'll be no KDB. There'll be no Foden for City. Saka is fit after a little minor knock he took, so he should start for Arsenal. None of the other injury stuff is interesting. And a bit of trivia: Manchester City are unbeaten in their last 11 league matches against Arsenal. They've won 9 and drawn 2, and Arsenal could actually lose their 9th consecutive Premier League game against City, which would set a new record for their longest top-flight losing streak against a single opponent. Two more little factoids for you. The Gunners have scored just once in their last 7 league matches against City. A Laurent Koscielny goal in a 3-1 defeat, another defeat in February 2019. And the last one is defeat against Arsenal if they somehow pull off a miracle. And that would see Manchester City becoming the first reigning champion since Blackburn Rovers in 95-96 to lose at least 2 of their opening 3 Premier League matches. So there you go, a few little bits of triv, a few, little facts for you there about the game. But Ryan, you've got to be happy you're not an Arsenal fan.
Oh, thank God every day that I'm an Arsenal fan at the minute. They're just in free fall. Well, certainly from the outside looking in, they look an absolute shambles at the minute. I don't think Arteta's the guy for them. I think it's going to be a bloodbath between them and City. I think City wiped the floor with them.
I think so too. And City, I mean, is there a gaping hole, like a sort of sinkhole in the ground for City in attack with their no number 9, Reese? What do you think? City are not the finished article yet. They need to get Lever through the door in the last few days of the transfer window.
I think we've all been saying the same comments about Manchester City since Pep took over. When are they going to be the complete finished article? It's like the Mona Lisa. Like, that's probably the best way to sum up Man City. They're like the Mona Lisa. It was never properly finished, and it's hard to actually say when this Man City squad will actually properly completed, because they're constantly chopping and changing money and like with players every year, and it's just so funny. But I think they're going to sign a striker. No, I don't think they will. Maybe next year. It's still funny that they tried to sign Harry Kane and they basically turned around and I'm staying, and Daniel Levy's came out, obviously, from Pep Guardiola's comments that he refused to talk with them, which is classic Daniel Levy shithousery, if you excuse my language. He's proper shithoused. Oh, lovely. Can't turn a Scotsman down from a bit of language. But no, like, Daniel Levy came in proper shithouse. He didn't want to talk, and fair play him. That's his prized asset. Like, we all know how important Harry Kane is to Tottenham. If Daniel Levy doesn't want to sell, he is not going to sell unless the asking price is right. Man City, they still have enough to absolutely hammer Arsenal. Like, as Ryan kindly said in the nicest way, they are in free fall. I call it Arsenal are in complete chaos, and I love it. Like, they're finished. There you go. There's no coming back.
Do you agree, Reese? Sorry to interrupt there, but do you agree? Yes or no? Do Arsenal have a hope in hell of winning that match against Man City? Yes or no?
They've got absolutely zero hope.
Oh, okay, and now
I think
because I asked a few celebrities what they thought about this question, and if someone said they've got zero chance, right? So you need to choose to find out these people's reaction. So you can choose your celebrity. You've got Pamela Anderson, Bruce Willis, Tom Cruise, Hillary Clinton, Ian Dowie, Big Sam. I think that's it. So who would you like to choose to consult them?
I'm a Baywatch fan. Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson. So Pamela, do you agree with Reese that Arsenal have no chance tomorrow? Oh, man. She doesn't agree, man. I agree with you. Gene, you're here. Gene, how's it going? You all right? Great to see you.
Very good. Thank you. Sorry I'm late, boys, but I've been thinking all the way. Good discussion points.
That's absolutely no worries. It's Friday. People are busy. That's okay. No worries at all. I've got to, it's the first one where I'm just sort of getting all these banners going and all that stuff. I'm always a bit lost with all this. The next match is Villa versus Brentford. Gene, do you care?
Do I care? So, but Villa is it's in my birth city. I'm Birmingham born and bred.
Ah, very good.
Honest,
okay. You're the right man to ask. Okay.
Ooh, very nice.
Whenever Villa lose, it's a happy day for me.
Okay.
But to be honest, I think, I used to get a lot of stick supporting Liverpool as a youngster back in Birmingham. So for me, I think Brentford, they come up, they gave Arsenal a good hiding. So I think Brentford have my support going forward now. I like the manager. I think he speaks really well. He's got a really good energy about him. and they've come up and they're playing refreshing, attacking, open football. You know, there's no fear. Whether they'll beat Villa, that's another question. I think, you know, Villa are probably going to start finding their feet soon with the new signings. Danny Ings scoring a great goal last week, obviously. You know, and the new boys got great goal. So to be honest with you, I'd like Brentford to win, but my head says that I think Villa win 2-0.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, lovely little summary there. Absolutely. Just I did a bit of research. So injury-wise, Traore and Bailey will not feature for Villa, but Watkins is back. He should be fit. And the last time these two sides met was in February 1947.
Who scored?
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, who scored? I can't remember.
It'd be the last time. It was the last time Brentford played top flight football.
Yeah, but I think it was, yeah. But then trivia-wise, Villa are the only side to have scored with all of their shots on target in this season's Premier League. So they've had 4 shots on target and they scored 4 goals. The Danny Ings effect. Abdul, how do you call this? I mean, you know, it's brilliant that Brentford are back in the league, isn't it? It's wonderful that they're with us. But, you know, what are your thoughts on this game, Abdul?
I have no idea, to be honest.
All right.
The Brentford project is really interesting, isn't it? Like how they're doing the whole like Moneyball kind of thing, and they're doing it quite well. I saw their new stadium, driven past it a few times. It looks really nice. A bit small, but yeah. But I couldn't split between those two teams. Danny Ings, though, yeah, it's got to an absolute flyer with Aston Villa so far, which is great for my fantasy team. But yeah, is it Villa at home? Is it?
Yeah,
Villa at home. Yeah. It's going to be always in the order it appears on the screen. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
yeah. So I imagine it'll be Villa win then. 3 points for them, but
3
it could go the other way. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So 3 points for Villa, and you need to choose your celebrity to see if they agree with you. So who's left? We've got Bruce Willis, Tom Cruise, Hillary Clinton, Ian Dowie, or Big Sam. I don't know.
I'm going to go for Tom Cruise. I've been watching a lot of Tom Cruise movies lately.
Tom Cruise. So Tom Cruise, are Villa going to win?
Yeah, I think he's got the same reaction as a lot of us, really.
He doesn't understand the question, does he? I don't know. I don't think he knows what Villa is. He thinks it's a flavour of ice cream or something. I don't know.
He was in Birmingham, isn't he? Like right now. It's funny. But yeah.
Probably. But yeah, no, the next match is one that I couldn't give 2 hoots about, and I could swear, but I can't even be bothered to swear. Because it involves Everton. So there you go, Brighton, Everton. Neil Maupay is doubtful, as is Iwobi for Everton. Moise Keane got a red card. I don't know if you saw that in the EFL Cup. Brighton are unbeaten at home against Everton, which is kind of funny. They've won 2 and they've drawn 2, lost none against the Ev. And there you go. But there's nothing particularly interesting apart from the fact that Bissouma, one of my favourite players, Reese, who's non-LFC, he's been my dream signing for a number of years. He absolutely destroyed Manchester City's midfield back in May. And but I've had my eye on him for a few years. If Liverpool signed Bissouma in the next few days, Reese, would that spoil the Ronaldo party? Would it sort of put a grain of sand in the Cristiano Ronaldo sandwich, or it won't bother you at all?
I would say it bothered me just a little, because the only reason I would say that is because it's a position that we need strengthening, and he goes in there easily for you guys. He slots in. We need a defence midfielder, and he slots in well for you guys. But does he really stifle the Ronaldo stuff? No, because he's just went and ruined Messi's summer. But I'll say this: I know you don't particularly care for the game because obviously it involves Everton. I don't mind them just because of Man United, but I don't think the hipsters are going to win this game. I think Brighton are going to lose that unbeaten record. I actually think it's going to be 3-1 Everton. I think Benitez, he started really well with the Ev, as you've kindly pointed out. I think Everton are going to win this game, to be honest. I know you don't want to hear that, but
it's okay. We're here for opinions.
I think they shall. But Bissouma is a fantastic midfielder, and if you guys do sign him, then fair play to you, because he would certainly sit into your midfield really comfortably.
Oh man, dream signing.
We'll see.
Dream signing. Go on, Ryan. So you had something to say?
On the Basuma thing, we'll see. Like I refuse to buy into transfer rumours until I see a player holding half a scarf with the manager. But on the Everton Brighton game, I've got a little bit of interest in this because I'm really curious about the Rafa experiment, if you like. It's really softened my hatred for the Ev. I just want to see him happy.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, so you're all right, but there's a limit and a line to that, Ryan. Let's not kid ourselves.
I
If
do have a
they
question.
start winning something, then you're gonna, I don't know. What
I do have a question for you.
Go on.
Go on.
Did you guys watch the fan overlap that happened recently? The Sky Sports fan overlap, and there was a question, and there was a talk amongst fans who said the first Merseyside derby's at Goodison Park. Am I right? First derby's at Goodison Park this season.
Probably,
for you two.
Yeah, I
for you
can't
lot.
remember. Yeah. Okay.
There was a comment mentioned saying how funny would it be if Everton score. I think it was Everton have scored first, but then Liverpool win the derby. But right at the end, they're still singing the Rafa song.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I got to ask, if that was to happen, Everton score first, but Liverpool still win the derby, but every single Liverpool fan is singing the Rafa song. How funny for you guys would that be?
That's banter.
I'd love it.
That's banter, man. Yeah, and I can see it happening, to be honest with you.
It's entirely realistic.
We've got secret agent Rafa in behind enemy lines. That's what we like to see, 3, 4, 1.
He's a good suit for them, but the fact is Everton, like, Jesus. Even I never saw that coming. I thought he was going to end up at. I thought he was going to replace Arteta at Arsenal when he eventually got the sack.
Yeah,
That'd be a really good fit.
Yeah, it would. I mean, two things. I think on the Arteta thing, I'm still racking my brain as to how he got a job like the Arsenal job with absolutely zero managerial experience behind him in the past, and they expected him to come and take control of probably the biggest transitional phase in the last 20 years for that club. And they gave an inexperienced guy who, he was Pep's number 2. That's his credentials. How's that working out for you? And number 2, I think Benitez. Listen, Benitez he's a professional. He goes where the challenge is, and I rate him for that. I think, what bigger challenge than Everton, right? And they haven't won any trophies there anytime recently. So that's the biggest challenge you could take. So I've got no hate for him going there. He's got to feed his family. He wants to make a career out of himself for himself. I've got no hate. And also, obviously, he loves the city, right? He's still connected to the city. So what better place to be if you can't be at the love of your life, which is obviously the Reds. Being down the road probably isn't so bad for him. I'm sure he still sneaks
because he still stays in Liverpool, doesn't he? Rafa Benitez.
The Whittle.
In the Whittle, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he still sneaks into a few home games in his guise.
Still like a Groucho Marx glasses and mustache combo.
Yeah.
That's mighty red. But yeah, all right, let's move on. Newcastle, Southampton, do we care? Not really. Let's move on. Norwich, Leicester.
You evil person.
What?
Come on, that's dirty at Southampton.
What? A Newcastle, Southampton. I mean, if anyone cares, then tell me what you think.
Shite the Toon Army, but Southampton beat them.
The only reason why you want Southampton mentioned is to try and big them up as a big team because you only got a point out of them last week, right?
Yeah, true.
Well, I like their manager. I
do too. Yeah.
He deserves a bigger challenge. He deserves a bigger challenge, in my opinion. Like, he deserves it. I mean, he's lost 9-0 twice, which is a shame. But the fact that he's lost 9-0 twice and he's still kept Southampton playing good football, still good results against even some of the top teams, he seems to deliver.
Yeah.
If he does not get a chance at a top-size club, I'll be shocked because he deserves it.
And they won 8-0 in the week, which is almost bringing back the karma. But that was only against Newport away from home in the League Cup. But still, I mean, it's a good result. And all right, now we are talking about it. You may as well get my research in there because I did do a bit. Newcastle have lost both of their games so far, okay? And they haven't lost 3 in a row since Ruud Gullit was their manager back in 1999. And Ruud Gullit ended up quitting after just getting 1 point from their opening 5 matches. And Abdul, I want your thoughts on a man who I cannot believe is still a Premier League manager, Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce? I don't know. Funnily enough,
I don't care either. Okay.
Yeah, I do think he is a bit underrated. I remember reading those stories very recently about like how his son was telling him that like what people said about him on social media. And it's kind of heartbreaking, really, because it's like everybody just saying that they don't rate him as a manager. But I think since he's come into Newcastle, I think he's actually done a half decent job. Obviously, Rafa was given a lot of praise for his time at Newcastle because of, I don't know, Mike Ashley stuff upstairs, and he did well with the team that he had. But I think Steve Bruce has done just as good a job, if not better. Possibly he's had a bit more time to spend a bit more money though. But yeah, Alain Saint-Maximin, really exciting player for the entire Premier League to watch. So I think Brucey's done a good job, with what he's had to work with and the cloud around that club in terms of Saudi Arabia and investment and whatever. It's an interesting club situation because they should be like a great club in the Premier League and they have it there. So you can see why Saudi Arabia want to invest in them. So let's see if they carry on doing well or if they get bought out by some really rich owner. Who knows? But yeah, Southampton. It's the sad thing about Southampton is they always get all of these sales. They sell all their big players, but you don't see what they've done with it in their team. And even now, they've just sold Danny Ings and they've got Adam Armstrong, who looks a decent player, but it feels like over the years, they've had so much money through the club, but not many real certain players have stayed there. They've got Nathan Redmond, James Ward-Prowse, Bednarek, Vestergaard, but these aren't even really big names.
Vestergaard's gone.
Has he?
Yeah, he's went to Leicester.
He went to Leicester.
Yeah.
Leicester?
And even Nathan Redmond, I'm not sure if he's still around. But
Redmond went to Everton. Redmond went to Everton.
Has he?
Didn't he? Yeah, didn't he not go with He went with Begovic and who's the other nut job? The one that played for Bayer Leverkusen. Young winger. He's played
Damari
for...
Gray.
Damari
Redmond's
Gray.
not one. That's Andros Townsend you're thinking of.
Oh, Townsend.
Yeah.
Townsend.
Yeah.
So it's
Townsend.
still
Redmond's
got
still at
Redmond. Fair enough.
Southampton.
Redmond's still
He's a decent player, but I think he's a decent player. But I think Abdul's absolutely spot on though. Like in terms of like they've sold some of their best players, but for a guy like Hasenhüttl who does a fantastic job, why is he not being backed properly? Like he should have a bit. They've been in the league since 2013, 2012, 2013 under Nigel Adkins.
12, I think, but yeah.
Nigel Adkins. Then it went to like Pochettino, Koeman, all of that, and now you've got Hasenhüttl he's done really well, but he's not back properly. And I'm like, why are you not spending to support this guy? He could keep you in the top 10 if you actually spent properly. He would probably get Southampton in the top 10. But I know it's a bit of a big push, but I reckon he could with the style of football if he was back properly.
Okay. Go on, Gene. Sorry.
If you look at their model and what they've done over the years, I mean, we've pilloried them for players, haven't we? I mean, they were our feeder club at one point, right?
Yeah.
That's how they stay sustainable. They look for talent across Europe. They scour Europe for unknown talent who comes in, and as soon as they come in, you can say, okay, in 2 years' time, this guy's going to be at Man United, or he's going to be at Liverpool, or he's going to be at a Man City. And I don't think they really have any intention on investing. I think they know where they are as a club. I think the fan base know where they are as a club. You don't hear Southampton fans moaning like Newcastle fans. Newcastle fans expect to be, competing. Or because of the size of the club. Southampton fans, I think they know. I think they're just happy to be a Premier League club competing. I think they enjoy that status. But yeah, I think it's great to see Southampton go and buy big money. But I agree with you. I think Ralph is a top-notch coach, and I think he will, in time, get that bigger job. And that's what they do. They bring players through and managers who go on to bigger things. And I think Southampton is happy at that level at the moment.
Yeah,
That's mental to me to think about that, because obviously as Liverpool fans, we're just thirsting for the win, maybe because of our history, but just to think of a club experience where you're just happy to be mid-table all the time doesn't feel right to me. I want to see them, but that's out of they can't really help that. But yeah, I mean, I want to see Southampton do something. I really like the state of the Premier League at the moment. Just all of these clubs really ambitious all the way through. Even West Ham really trying to show something now. So hopefully Southampton do start spending money and really building this team into something. But who knows what's going to happen?
Well, that's great. We just spent. We talked about something I was going to skip over. It was really interesting stuff. Thanks, guys. No, it's really interesting. Generally, a player I really like from Southampton, Stuart Armstrong. Unfortunately, he's not going to play. And of course, Newcastle. I mean, they're not without things that I absolutely adore. And as I said last time, Sam Maximin.
He's amazing.
He's another dream signing.
I rate him honestly. If I look in the league and I look at exciting young players. Mm-hmm. He could easily step into like a Man United or Liverpool. Like the way he plays, like the style of football,
and he would improve any team.
Yeah, exactly. And I spoke to you several months ago. You were on the show with me and Doug, and it was my exact words were, and not a single person disagreed. It was when he just came back from injury. I said St. Maximin to Newcastle is bigger than what Callum Wilson is, because St. Maximin will actually keep them up. Callum Wilson wouldn't. St. Maximin is by far their best player. Like everything he does is just absolutely amazing.
But
he is. He's a good player.
There is I think he's a bit better. Ryan, where do you stand on that very quickly, Ryan? Callum Wilson or Sam Maximin?
So I don't agree. Sam Maximin is a delight to watch. He's got all the flair in the world, but Callum Wilson's the guy who's going to score them the goals that keep them up if they stay up.
Okay, so you would say, okay, and who do you want to consult on this? We've got Bruce Willis, we've got Hillary Clinton, Ian Dowie, or Big Sam.
Big Sam. Get me Big Sam.
Yeah, of course.
Get me on that gravy train.
There you go. He says, I agree, and if you give me £2, I'll let you sniff me. So there you go.
Yep.
There you go. You got £2?
How ironic it was. How ironic it was.
It smells like gravy and winning.
How ironic is Big Sam in front of a Southampton badge? Sunderland badge.
Well, yes, it's quite an old photo. It's the best one I could get. But it's the only one I could find of him smiling. That's how long ago it was. But anyway, okay. So yeah, let's move on. Where are we now? Good Lord, where the heck are we? I think we're going to have to do that, and then you won't notice that I've just taken my time here because I don't know what button I'm pushing. Yeah, this one. It's Norwich and Leicester, okay. Again, not really that bothered, to be honest. Ryan Bertrand is available after recovering from COVID, so very good news. COVID. Vestergaard, who plays for Leicester, Abdul. Vestergaard has a knee injury, so he won't play. He picked up a knee injury, apparently, as they were warming up just before they were warming up for the West Ham game on Monday night. And so he's not available. I don't know how long he'll be out for. And Perez, of course, was sent off. Iosi Perez was sent off against West Ham when they lost 4-1 on Monday. So he's going to start the first of his 3-match bans. Okay, so Norwich have lost just one of their last 7 home league meetings with Leicester. Well, all right. But Norwich, okay, this is how bad it's got for them. They've lost 12 games in a row now in the Premier League. Of course, we're discounting how well they did in the Championship. But just in the Premier League. And this run was only exceeded by 2 clubs. The longest losing streak in top flight history was Sunderland, who had 20 league defeats in a row between 2003 and 2005. Imagine that. But second on the list, Norwich are now third, second on the list with 14-match losing streak in 1930. Can anyone guess which club went on the second longest losing streak in 1930?
It wasn't Liverpool.
It wasn't Liverpool.
I was going to hazard a guess, and I was going to say Leicester, funnily enough.
It's a good guess, but it's Manchester United.
I would die.
Get out.
But no, it's absolutely true. You better believe it. Unbelievable. Okay, to
be fair, we were in a rough time going into the war. We were at a rough stage. It was after the war when everything got smooth again. But wow, interesting record. Very interesting. Well, hopefully they not break at them.
But in terms of Norwich and Leicester, I mean, it's 3 points for Leicester, isn't it? It's no one's going to argue with that, are they? 3 points for Leicester. Anyone going to argue with that?
To be honest with you, I mean, there's an interest there for all of us, right? Because Leicester look like they'll probably be our top 4 rivals again. You know what? You never know. Norwich might just find their mojo. A home game in front of their crowd was a bit lively. against us when we rolled up there on the first game of the season. So you never know. Maybe they pull a bit of a shock out of the bag here.
I actually raised my hat in shock.
Maybe.
Could happen. Anything can happen. Okay, next one, West Ham, Crystal Palace. West Ham have no fresh injury concerns, so they could play the same starting 11 for the third game in a row. Palace are still without their long-term absentee Eberechi Eze, or Eze if you prefer. I think that's actually his name, rather than whether you prefer it, Eze. But brilliant talent. Unfortunately, long-term injury. Both teams have scored in their last 8 games. So if you're a betting person, then put an extra quid, or if you haven't spent it on Big Sam, put an extra quid on there to be at least 1 goal in this game. And West Ham are aiming for their 5th successive Premier League win, which would equal their club record, which they've done twice in 1996 and 2006. So a 5th successive Premier League win. Ryan, they're doing extremely well, Moisey's boys, aren't they?
Yeah, they've done brilliantly. Michael Antonio just broke. Michael Antonio breaking this record made me realise just how shite a club West Ham are. 50 goals being your all-time Premier League record goal scorer is they've been here for a while.
It's embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
I've got a great stat though from Michael Antonio.
48 goals.
His expected goals tally so far is 2.45. Okay, in just 2 games, 2.45. But that's more than 9 other Premier League clubs. Just him alone. He's quite a talent, Gene. Okay. Michael Antonio. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, what was he? He was converted from a right back, was he? I think into a striker. He used to play on the wide. I think he got pushed up there just out of desperation because they didn't have any strikers. But you know what? Listen, talented guy. Still a bit rough, especially in the front. In that front position, a bit rough around the edges. But he's got a heart. He plays for the club. I like him. I like his passion that he puts in.
Yeah.
And he plays with a good spirit. He's not someone who goes and puts a little late kick in on someone who plays with a good spirit. So I don't mind him enjoying a little bit of success as long as it's not obviously against us. But hey, he could be you never know. He could be getting an England call up in the next couple of months maybe. With that.
Yeah, if I was Southgate, there are lots of things I would do with the England team, but one of them would be definitely calling up Michael Antonio, definitely. Any predictions? Anyone want to jump in with any predictions? West Ham and Crystal Palace.
Home win.
I've gone 4-0. I've gone 4-0 Hammers.
Yeah, Thomas Souček as well. We haven't mentioned him. Have you been watching him play? Anybody? Thomas Souček, what a player!
Classic guy.
He's such an underrated player as well. I know Declan Rice is going to get all the plaudits, rightfully so. He is the main man for West Ham, but
Souček's the main man.
Souček's like the man that goes under the radar, right? That's what I like. That's what I like about him. He's under the radar guy, but Declan Rice is always going to get the plaudits. If you look at it, when you think of West Ham and all that, he seems to be the first guy you think of. But I just love the work that Souček puts into that midfield. From his loan deal when he came in, then signing permanently. Love that. David Moyes literally has that perfect midfield base that, frankly, if he'd had that at Everton, if they'd actually been around in his Everton days, funnily enough, it actually probably would have suited him really well because he has such a good base and his system works really well. He gets the best out of his attacking players as well. My only concern is all they have is Antonio up front. If they lose. If they were to lose Antonio, then where do they go from there? Because Yarmolenko isn't a striker, and they don't have anybody else because they let Andy Carroll go, and we already know what Andy Carroll's situation is. The man can't stay fit at all. But you know what? I give credit to them for finding a solution. The fact that he was converted position after position, and he's getting better and better. If they can keep him fit and firing, then what doesn't say West Ham get top 6 again? It could happen.
At least they could crash the top 4, maybe. I don't know about that. But let's move on. Liverpool, Chelsea's the next one. The referee.
Sorry.
Have you seen? Go on, Ryan.
Can I just give a quick shout out to Robin in the chat who pointed out very intelligently that Mo Salah broke West Ham's goal scoring record in under 2 seasons.
Unbelievable. Thanks, Robin, for being in the chat. Exactly. Do get your messages in, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Please, hit the like button. It really helps. And, just keep your comments coming in. Yeah,
I'm just enjoying your Spider-Man vibes at the minute.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, no, yeah, it's supposed to be a secret. Hang on.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. You've already exposed yourself now.
Yeah, damn it, yeah. Okay. But no, yeah, thanks for those messages, everybody. Right, I just got those there. Liverpool, Chelsea's next. The next on the list. We'd be going through chronologically here. Liverpool, Chelsea, 5:30 kickoff. The referee, have you seen? Anthony Taylor. Manchester's Anthony Taylor. But I had a long look at his record. I could show you, but I can't be bothered. He has actually got a surprising record in that he has given Liverpool more penalties than he has any other team that he's refereed at least 17 times. Okay, bit of a weird stat that, but he doesn't give many penalties. He's given 3 penalties to Liverpool in the last sort of I think it's 5 seasons or more, maybe 6 or 7 seasons. But he's not as biased as you would think. Being that he's from Manchester. But Liverpool, Chelsea, of course, regardless of the ref, for Liverpool, Robbo and Fabinho are back. James Milner's out, unfortunately. Kante should be fit to start. And a few facts for you. The Reds could win our first 3 Premier League games without conceding a single goal, which is a feat they also achieved in 2013-14 and 2018-19. But, against that, the Chelsea have scored in all but one of their last 12 League and Cup games at Anfield. So someone's got to give here. Either Liverpool are going to keep another clean sheet or Chelsea are going to score at least one. I'm going to go to sort of the neutral, although you'll probably be supporting Chelsea, won't you, Reece? But Liverpool, Chelsea, what are your initial thoughts? What do you go where you want with it?
I've gone for a draw first and foremost. I don't think either team's going to win this game. But I look at it and it's the stubborn defense of Thomas Tuchel versus the explosive, hard-working style of Jurgen Klopp. And I'm actually intrigued to see how this game goes. I went for a draw purely because I want both teams to drop points, but I don't think that's going to be the final outcome. I don't think it will, but I'm just not going to say who wins the damn game. I look at that though, and both teams have got some fantastic players in there. You got Van Dijk looking like he's going to be back to his best, or we'll see if he's back to his best. You've got an absolute machine in Romelu Lukaku up front for Chelsea. Got off the bat last week against Arsenal. Can you call him a big club now? No. So scoring against big clubs, at least he's got his first test against Liverpool. So he'll be up for that. He'll be there to prove himself. Interesting game. I don't know why, but I've got vibes that it's going to be a high scoring draw, and I just love it. So I've actually gone outside the box. I've gone 3-3 draw, just for pure.
I love
that
it.
Is high scoring.
Yeah, I've just got it. I've just got some random in it because, I think if Chelsea and Liverpool were to go at each other in any extent, and they just attacked each other, they easily could score numerous goals past them. It's just a matter of who breaks it first. I look at your front three. It's still one of the best in the league, if not Europe. Chelsea, they've got so many attacking combinations where they can pick you apart if they want to. It just depends on which defence is going to give way. And the fact that you've got, as you said, you've got Andrew Robertson back as well, and you've got Fabinho, your squad is near enough back to full strength, or at least it is full strength now, but he needs to get those two up to he needs to get them up to speed. But at least it's not going to be a wimpy Chelsea like played under Lampard. It's going to be a proper Chelsea side that will give you a battle. And I just like the fact that I went for a 3-3 draw because I'm like, I want to see goals and I want to see both sides drop points. So all for it, 3-3 draw.
A 3-3 draw. Okay. I mean, for me, Abdul, I'm not sure I see that because I can see that for me, this game is going to pan out that Tommy is going to sort of, try and kick the ball as much as possible, play it through Jorginho. He's going to have a back three plus, basically a back five, because the wing backs will be tracking back, and so Alonso or probably Chilwell is going to be tracking Trent, and then you've got you've got a couple of players who can track Mo Salah, and they've got basically 4 players who can run back. If Timo Werner he's under instruction to run backwards and track back, then we've got let's say, for example, Henderson, Trent and Salah on the right hand side. It's 3 players. Chelsea have got 4, because they've got their centre back, their left back, one of their centre midfielders, and Werner. And I think that they're going to try and do something like that to make a 4 versus 3 in defence. And then as soon as they win the ball, they can either whack it long to Timo Werner if Liverpool have overcommitted going forward, or Romelu Lukaku, or they're gonna keep the ball and move it around, and then try and stretch us out so that then they can play a long ball to Romelu Lukaku or Timo Werner. So I think it's going to be quite cagey, is what I'm saying. Victory, if Liverpool do manage to win, we will be the first club ever in the top flight history to win our first 3 fixtures in 4 consecutive seasons, okay? Because we've done it the last 3 seasons in a row. So it'd be unbelievable if we were to win. And Abdul, I suppose, how would you... I don't know. There's loads of things we could say about it. What do you want to say about it? Liverpool, Chelsea. Do it. Say what you want.
Well, I think games like this, it literally can go either way. I've got that feeling about it. Not that it can go either way all the time, but for tomorrow specifically, I feel like the form that both the teams are coming into it, it literally can go either way. It can be a high-scoring draw, or it could be a tight, cagey affair, like you're saying, or even just a high-scoring win for whichever team. Games like this tomorrow, they're decided on the margins, and that is the best thing about the Premier League this season. Like, the margins between the 3 different teams, top clubs, 4 different teams, if you want to say, with United, if you want to include them, they're so slim that matches like this literally will be decided in moments, like a little slip up or a player not tracking a run, just one run, literally just the one run. And both teams have so much quality that they will capitalize on that. So I'm just really excited to watch the match. As a neutral, if I am just a neutral, it's genuinely just such an exciting match. Just from the starting lineup point of view, both teams can play their full strength team, and both managers have to make the decision tomorrow about like what their full strength team is, because there isn't going to be another team who is stronger than the opposing team that they're playing tomorrow. And both teams are in good form, on a good bounce coming into this match. Literally, it's just such an exciting match just on paper that I can't really think about which way it's going to go at the moment. I think Liverpool have so many big decisions to make. That starting lineup, like if he goes with Jota tomorrow, you can't really argue against that because he scored the goals. But if he goes with Firmino, you can't really argue against that because it's such a big game. You definitely want to bring in somebody with Firmino's experience into this game. If he goes with Tsimikas, if he goes with Robbo, you can argue for both sides. Whatever midfield he puts out, you could argue it, I'm pretty sure. And the same thing with Chelsea. If he goes for Chilwell or Alonso, you could argue it. If he goes for Reece James, or if he maybe goes for Azpilicueta and brings in another centre-back to keep more tight in defence, you could argue it. The midfield choice, you could argue it. Jorginho or Kante or Kovacic or whoever. The strike, it's just such an exciting match, and I just can't wait to watch it.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Gene, what?
Oh, you are something else, Owen.
What?
You're something else.
I don't know what you're on about. But yeah, Diogo Jota, Gene, he could become the 4th player to score in each of Liverpool's opening 3 Premier League games after Robbie Fowler, Daniel Sturridge in 13-14, all those 1-0 wins we got at the start of that season, and Sadio Mane, of course, in 17-18. And another fact for you, Mohamed Salah has 98 Premier League goals, including 2 for Chelsea. And the only African player to reach triple figures in the competition is Didier Drogba, who netted 104 goals for Chelsea in his career. So basically, Mo Salah's 6 goals behind Drogba. So a double hat trick tomorrow, Gene?
Yeah, I mean, I'd take the 2 just so he breaks that 100 barrier against Chelsea, who tried to fob him off to Italy as a flop. I mean, it was quite fitting for him to come back and just stick one to them with a couple of goals to take him over to 100. But for me, listen, I think in terms of the game, I think the game is more than just a 3 points game. I think this is the game where both clubs are looking to push themselves up as the main title challengers to Manchester City. And I think this result and performance goes a long way to starting to mould that top 2, top 3 kind of fight this season. I think Thomas Tuchel, by the way, has done an amazing job down at Chelsea. I'm honest with you. I think I didn't rate him. He wasn't amongst my elite managers when he was at like Dortmund, and then he went to PSG for a walk in the park and a little title win to try and get his stock up. But what he's done, either he's really good or it shows exactly how bad Frank Lampard was in charge of Chelsea.
Good
So
question.
one or the other. But going back to your question about Jota, I think what we have in Jota is that number 9 striker that we've been kind of calling out for. We talked about the fact that obviously Firmino was a little bit, he's a false number 9, isn't he? He's not someone that plays on the last man. He likes to drop deep and come and link up the play and so on and so forth. What we have in Jota now is that fox in the box again, almost Robbie Fowler-esque. His little headed goal against Burnley last week, and his opportunism against Norwich when he got onto the end of Mo Salah. Let's call it a brilliant assist from Mo Salah against Norwich. So listen, I think Jota's the main man. I think Jota starts ahead of Firmino tomorrow, and I see a 3-1 victory to Liverpool. I see it in the stars.
Woo.
Yeah, I see
Excellent stuff. I mean, I'd be delighted with that, of course. Ryan, coming to you next with another factoid. Virgil van Dijk. This is quite well known that he's made 48 Premier League appearances for Liverpool at Anfield, and he's lost none of them in 48 matches. But what I was actually, although that's absolutely mind-blowing, what actually, it's sort of like, I think some of my like neural pathways actually exploded when I looked at the actual record is 43 wins and 5 draws and no defeats, Ryan. People say he's the best defender in the world, but some people say that. But is he underrated at that? Because he might be the best defender ever.
Too early to say whether he's the best defender ever. I think he's the best in the world at the minute, but if you want to be the best ever, you have to do it for like 20 years, like Maldini did.
Thank you. Mention my GOAT. Thank you very much.
He's just a GOAT.
Hands down.
But yeah, okay. And how are you feeling about this match, Ryan? You made the Liverpool.
Oh, I'm a big bundle of nerves. That's how I'm feeling about this match. I think it comes down to 2 things. 1, Lukaku versus Van Dijk in the first 20 minutes of the game. Can Van Dijk shut him down? And 2, who ultimately, if anyone, scores first? I think whoever scores first wins the game. And if Van Dijk can keep Lukaku quiet, I think you go a decent amount of the way of shutting down this Chelsea team. I know it's very early to say that because they've only played twice with Lukaku in the side. But if we can shut him down, we go a long way to putting ourselves in the position that we need to be in to win the game. I really wish it was going to be a high-scoring game, like Reece said. But I've got a sneaky feeling it's going to be a 0-0. Or 1-0 either way.
Oh, man. That's
I noticed before, Alan was saying that Klopp's got a really good record against Tuchel in the chat. So Alan C was saying that he's played 14 and won 9. But there it is. 14, won 9, drew 3, lost 2. I'm curious to know how many of those games Tuchel was in charge of a decent side and how many were... Did Tuchel play against Klopp when he was at Mainz?
I think they played once or twice, yeah.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So that'll skew the stats a bit, but it's encouraging to know.
Yeah. He's a manager who's learned a lot from his time in Paris as well. And, he seems to be, like he really knows what he wants. And he's, he knows how to get, a lot out of players. So, fair play.
Quality manager.
Yeah.
Really good manager. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But okay, so Gene, I'm going to go with your prediction because you said 3-1 Liverpool.
Good.
Okay, and that's an entirely more exciting prediction than your 0-0. Sorry, Ryan, to me, but I think you might be right. I think you might be right. He's got 0-0 written all over. We're going to go with Gene's prediction, and Gene, we've got Hillary Clinton, Ian Dowie. And I think that's it. That's your choice. You've got Hillary Clinton or Ian Dowie to see if they agree with you. It's going to be 3-1.
I got to say Ian Dowie just to see that beautiful face.
Ian Dowie. Oh, there he is. He says, I don't get it. I don't
Says,
get
hey,
it.
you guys.
So, yeah, he looks a bit like Sloth from the Goonies, the poor lad. But yes, he's just like, I don't get it. So he doesn't know what we're talking about. So that's all right. So he's a bit neutral. Let's. Oh, I showed him again. Okay. Where are we next? So a couple of games because we're just going to do another sort of 5-10 minutes. If you need to head off, chaps, then please do. If anyone's listening, you're going to want to put in your comments, and please do as well. But we've got a few more matches to get through. We've got Burnley, Leeds.
Sorry, I am going to have to shoot because my battery's dying even though it's on charge. So I will leave you here. Been a genuine pleasure, peeps, and I will catch you next time.
Good to see you, Ryan.
Take care, Ryan. Yeah, all the best, man. All the best. Thank you very much for being here. There you go. And then there were 4. Burnley against Leeds. Burnley's last top flight win over Leeds was a 2-1 victory at Turf Moor in 1974. That was the last time that Burnley beat Leeds in the top flight.
Found it.
But
I was just getting the records for you. I was just getting the records.
Okay.
So he beat him once as a Mainz
manager. We're going to skip through this. We're going to skip through it because
Sweet. I'll get you in a minute.
Burnley Leeds, we're gonna just skip through it. The next one, Spurs, Watford, is like, yeah, all right, Kane and all that. What we're going to do for the last 10 minutes, Wolves, Man United. Oh, man. So, of course, Varane will make his debut. And Rashford, Telles, and Dean Henderson are all out for Manchester United. Yeah. But C. Ronaldo is back. And at the top of this program, I got the views of Reese and Abdul. But, Gene, I want your opinion on C. Ronaldo, please. He's back. He's back in the dastardly red of Manchester United.
Yeah, I am. I was really looking forward to the comedy that would have been him going to Manchester City. If I'm honest with you, that would have been absolutely hilarious. However, I did hear some of the chat around Ronaldo and whether he's going to be tracking back enough and do the dirty work that he used to do maybe back in the day. To be honest with you, I think what Man United need is just a number 9. I think someone mentioned it earlier on. Cavani. He's come in and done really well, but neither him or Ronaldo have 38 games in their legs, necessarily of a grueling season. So I think that's a real good alternative there for them to have those 2 players, alternating and really providing a real goal-scoring threat. And, I would say Ronaldo's not going to move much from that, 10-yard central area in and around the box because all he needs is a few yards and he can get it off, a pop-shot shot off, and he's hitting the net. He's still got that amazing spring in the air as well for crosses. So I think, to be honest with you, I think he definitely makes Man United a much more dangerous prospect than they were without him. That's for sure. I think as long as Ollie has the nous to say, just stay central and you be our main goal threat. So I'm a little bit. I'm not concerned. I'm not going to say concerned. I always look forward to that kind of challenge, but I think Man United pulled off a decent bit of business there to get one of the best players in the last 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? So they've done a good job there.
I think so. I think they have done really good business. But Abdul, what about you? I mean, looking at this match, Daniel Podence is back for Wolves. The guy that was the reason why Wolves were happy to sell us, Diogo Jota. He hasn't really done so well. He got 4 goals and 2 assists since the beginning of last season. Jota has 11 goals and no assists. But yeah, he's had his injury problems. He'll be back. Manchester United have lost only one of their last 8 Premier League matches against Wolves. And surely, with all their feel-good factor, Abdul, they're not going to lose this one, are they? Can you see anything apart from an away win?
You never know with United, to be honest. You thought that they were going to... I swear they drew their last match against Southampton, didn't they?
1-1.
1-1, yeah. So you felt all the good vibes. Pogba getting 4 assists in one match. Bruno getting a hat-trick. You thought they were going to whitewash Southampton, then they didn't. And this is another toughish kind of away fixture against Wolves, who I think they haven't started too badly under Bruno Lage. I think that's how you say it before you pull me up on my pronunciation. But yeah, I think they could get a draw. I mean, the Ronaldo feel-good factor, until he takes the pitch, you don't know what it's going to actually translate into. But yeah, they could get a draw. They might be distracted tomorrow, thinking about Ronaldo that they're going to play with in training next week. But I don't know. Yeah, I think United should win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they draw. I feel a draw, to be fair. For some reason, I feel a draw. I'm going to go 0-0 draw. Just a really boring affair. And then Ronaldo just seems justified next week when he crashes in a hat-trick from like a combined 4 yards. But yeah.
I didn't realise he's not available for this weekend. He's not available. Okay.
Well, I mean, he might be available, but it just feels
He's not.
too soon. Oh, okay.
He's not available now. We won't see him till after international break.
Okay, because of the quarantine or something, or
Pretty much, yeah. And the fact I don't think we'd be able to get him registered in time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just registration. He probably hasn't got registered yet.
Yeah, but we can cope. To be fair, we can cope with what we already have. We can still cope without Ronaldo against Wolves. The only thing is they've lost both their games so far. They've but 1-goal score lines, so they've certainly continued the defensive nous under Nuno, where they're still strong at the back, but they haven't scored yet. So that's the thing. Like, when they're going to start firing goals? I look at United and I think I expect a response. I expect an immediate response this weekend. I want Varane to start. I think I'll be surprised if Van de Beek actually gets a game. I think Sancho's got to come in as well. Put Cavani off the bench. Put Martial away from the starting 11 and put Greenwood back into the central position. Because Martial's completely done. He is completely done. There's no coming back for him. But
is that a failure of coaching, Reece? The fact that Martial came in with all those bags of talent weighing him down. Illegal. He had to pay extra because they were so heavy, his bags of talent, when he arrived. But he just hasn't fulfilled it. Or is it just one of the things?
When it comes to Martial, I honestly have no answers. I've got more questions than I do answers. Honestly, because he's such a talented player, but we've never seen his full potential. I mean, he's been here since the 14-15 season. So he's going into his 6th year. He's had 2 fantastic seasons in terms of numbers. His first season, it was like 17. It was like 17 in the league, something like that. They got like 20 odd 2 years ago, but in between, he just never shows enough. And it's baffling how on his day he can be absolutely electric. He can be, when he gets the ball, dribbling wise, run at defenders, holding up the play. He's lethal, especially with finishing. But when he's not at it, the levels drop so bad. And you see enough in a player where you're like, I don't want that. I want him to be his best. That's just funny. If you don't, but it is any club. If it was the same at any other club, it wouldn't be tolerated.
You know
and
what?
I'm like it's hard to say really what has gone wrong from him. Is it coaching? I don't know. Is it himself? It's hard to say. The fact he doesn't seem to thrive off competition either. His head goes down against of certain players, like which is hard, which is another thing. But he should thrive off it.
I think it's a confident thing. He came into the Premier League with a big bang, unfortunately, against us. Scored an amazing goal. And what happened, I think it was under the Mourinho. It was in the Mourinho era, really, wasn't it? That things started to go a little bit sour for the club. And I just think Mourinho almost broke him down to a degree, and I don't think he recovered from that. And I think some players, once they hit that rough kind of phase within a club, they will never leave it. And sometimes they just need a new challenge. They need a new environment. They need to be out of the spotlight that's been criticizing them for the last 2 years, where where they're probably trying too hard now to actually prove everybody wrong. Go to a different environment. Go and be a hero somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'd have still got him, probably because no one's put in a bid for him, to be honest with you. No one's probably shown much interest, but he's still a French international. So, yeah, he needs to. I mean, that's a good player maybe that, someone like PSG should have taken on. The fact they took on Moise Kean, that'd be nice for him to go back home.
Exactly.
A couple of seasons. He's playing around the likes of, Messi and Neymar and Mbappe. And so, maybe that's what he needs to be around those type of players to actually bring him up a couple of levels again. But
If Real Madrid, if Real Madrid get him back, then that might be a nice signing for PSG to make. Just get Martial in.
It would be.
Yeah, I wonder if Martial would be happy to. I mean, he wouldn't necessarily start at PSG where they got Icardi and Neymar and Messi. So I don't know if Martial would actually want to go somewhere where he's guaranteed first team football. I don't
know where he would. I don't know where he would go. I would like it if this year, with the players we've brought in, I think he looks at that and he goes, "Why would I want to leave? But I can still show I'm a hard worker. I can still show I deserve to beat this club." Put in such a shift that he could end up forcing the likes of Ronaldo and Cavani out of the team. It's not going to be easy, but if he put in a shift and he kept at it constantly, he could do, because on his days, talent-wise, he's absolutely phenomenal. I would like to see more of it from him on a regular basis. If it doesn't happen, then he most likely will get moved on. I'd hate for in the end for him to be labelled as an absolute failure, because I've seen the numbers with what he can do. I've seen what he can do in the numbers. I can see what he's done in certain games where he's turned up and he's been electric and he's been a difference maker. But if it doesn't work out this season, I think he may be moved on in next summer. I think he will.
Another player. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, the more I think about it, I think if Mbappe does go to Madrid, then Martial is just such a perfect signing for PSG. I know that Icardi's there, but that's only one other striker, and then they don't really have another striker in the squad, because I think Moise Kean's loan has expired. So him and Icardi are battling for one spot.
Calimuendo, do you know him? He's only played a few games, but he's a really hot talent. He went on loan somewhere. I think it might have been Lens, and I can't tell you, I haven't got the stats in front of me, around about 15, 18 goals or something like that at age 18. And he's a huge talent, and he's 19, and he's back at PSG for now. But it makes me think that if PSG dig their heels in and they don't sell Mbappe, which I think is likely, that PSG...
They rejected the second bid, apparently, just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that I didn't know that, but that doesn't surprise me in the slightest, because they've got no real reason to sell. They'll just let him go on a free because money's of no object to them.
Yeah.
It is just so crazy, like the prospects of Real Madrid, where if they were to sign Mbappe now, which frankly they didn't have to, like they don't realistically have to, because they've still got Karim Benzema, who is in his 30s, but he is still, and he seems to have flourished since Ronaldo left, where he can become the focal point, where he was sacrificed a goal machine to do more for Ronaldo. But that's not a dig at Benzema or dig at Ronaldo. But you look since Ronaldo went to Juventus, Benzema took that mantle as, right, I'm the main forward, I'm the main man, and he's delivered like 30-odd goal seasons. And I'm like, where have these numbers been? Like, because he's a fantastic player.
He has,
but the prospects are now, he has so much on him. He is going to need a long-term replacement. It looks like it's going to be Mbappe, but they still want Haaland as well. So I'm like, Real Madrid, make your freaking minds up.
If they get both next year on a free, I mean, that's possible, I suppose.
Ancelotti would rave to hell with that. He would.
He's already spoiled for choice as it is. I mean, they got Vinicius, they got Rodrigo, they got Bale who's staying, they got Hazard who hasn't settled yet. Asensio's there. Sorry?
Bale doesn't count anymore. He's lost his mojo. He's left his
Well,
mojo.
He's playing games. I see he started for Real Madrid in
He
one of their
scored.
recent matches.
He scored in their last league game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I take it back.
Ancelotti's just blank slated it. He's given everybody a fresh reign, basically. I think
He
even
scores
Isco's
well.
getting games. Yeah.
Isco as well, as Ancelotti said in our press conference recently. This is the Isco that This is the man that I bought from Malaga. Like, this is the midfielder he was supposed to be 8 years later. Like, this is the guy he was supposed to be, and I'm like, if he can get the best out of Isco, great, because he's a player I'd love to have seen in the Premier League.
Yeah. So it's just interesting with Real Madrid, just to finish it off, just like, why do they need an Mbappe when they have so much talent already, unless they're going to have a big yard sale and get rid of some of this talent? And so far, they've only really got rid of the defenders. So it's just what's going on.
It's all about the Galactico status, right? They've got to try and build up their brand again, and building their brand means they find Galacticos when they need them or not, to be fair. You know, and I think as a club of Real Madrid status, you know, for many years, they've always had a player in their squad that has been deemed probably the best player in the world at that point in time. You know, it was Ronaldo. Before that, it was, you know, Luis Figo. It was Dan. Always had a trailer of these Galactico players coming in where they claim to have the best player in the world in their squad. And I think, you know, they're looking at Mbappe as probably the most, you know, the most accessible, if you like, in that tier of players now. So yeah. And I think a lot of that, it's not just what he does on the pitch, it's also what he does.
His marketing ability. The amount, like, especially with their situation right now financially, his generated shirt sales would massily help them.
Correct.
You just know it will.
Guys, we got to sort of end it there, unfortunately, because I've got to jump off and go and do some things. But before we go, we have to ask Hillary Clinton, who's just been waiting patiently in the wings to give her opinion. So just very quickly, Abdul, we'll see if she agrees with you. Would you say that, you know, for example, you're going to say that Mbappe is definitely going to go to Real Madrid? Would you say that, Abdul?
Yes, I think that's sorted, whether it's this summer or next summer. But
it's this summer or next summer. Let's see what Hillary thinks of that.
That's typical Hillary. Your face, she's one thing.
Yeah, you look in her eyes, you can tell she's disagreeing.
Yeah, literally, she's like, what is this guy saying?
That is so much better than Pamela. That one was so much better response-wise. Oh, man.
I don't know. But anyway, thank you very much. It's been absolutely joyful to talk with all three of you. And Ryan, who's buggered off. But it's been superb because it's been really good fun. And this is the Premier League preview show. We're going to have lots more of it. We're sponsored by D. Cali Design, who does amazing stuff like this, for example, that Klopp with the European Cup. Use the code COPON10 when you do that. You know, when you go on his site, calidesigns.co.uk, if you want some wonderful pieces of artwork. He's got Michael Jordan boxers. You know, it's not just Liverpool stuff. He's a super talented guy, so get on that. And what can I say? Thank you again. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Sorry we didn't get around to look at everyone's messages, but thank you to everybody for listening. It's been Cop On. I made a special sort of video for 5 seconds. Whoa, that took ages. Thanks very much, guys. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. Have a wonderful time, whoever you are, wherever you are listening, and all my esteemed guests here. Anything you want to say to shout outs for your social medias and things like that? Gene, I'll start with you. Do you want to?
Yeah, Brotherman76 on social media. And get onto the LFCTR Liverpool FC Transfer Room website as well. Get all the latest information of incomings and outgoings within the club.
Absolutely. There you go. And there you can see Brotherman76 is right there. You can see the address. Absolutely. Very good. Reese, what about you?
I just want to say thanks very much for having me on, Owen. I believe it's the first time I've been on your channel as well, so a pleasure. Even if it's Liverpool, it's always a good chat. with you, my friend. It's always a good chat. You can find me at social media, R7UN1T3D, where I literally cause fucking carnage on Twitter. Like, if you want to look up carnage, honestly, just look me up. And you can find me on several channels, but the ones I'm mostly on is Dugout Football channel. I'm on Josh's channel where I do a weekly predictions show, and the weekly Armchair Sports Talk, where I am a host for an all London club show where I cause them carnage. So literally, that's the most place you can find me. But honestly, thanks so much for having me on. I've enjoyed myself talking to you guys, although I'm being outflanked by Liverpool fans. It's no surprise, really. This is a Liverpool channel. But thanks very much.
You're a brave man, and you're welcome anytime, Reese. Thank you very much. Abdul, what about you? Some shout outs you want to do for your Watch LFC account, perhaps? Brilliant stuff.
I wish I could do a Watch account. Unfortunately, suspended again. So yeah, we'll just have to wait for that to come back up. Just part and parcel of the trade. So yeah. Apart from that,
did you troll an Everton fan?
I wish it was something as trivial as that, to be honest. But yeah.
Oh God.
Literally just the usual copyright stuff. But yeah, follow me on Twitter if you're interested in hearing my stupid opinions about stuff. It's just Abdul, ABDXLA. Yeah.
It's excellent stuff. Excellent account. So thanks very much. Take care, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Just because it took ages.